Hello friends, future McDonald's employee here, and today I'm going to be talking about college students. More specifically, I'm going to be talking about the types of college students in lectures who piss me off. Title of the video. The first kind of college students that are people I'd like to call the debater. Now don't get me wrong, university is a place where intellectual discourse belongs. University is a place that challenges your long-withstanding beliefs and also gives you the platform to challenge other people's long-withstanding beliefs. If you're a person who's in the debate team, is a person who likes to engage in proper intellectual discourse, that's cool. I'm not talking about you guys, alright? The debaters that I'm talking about are the kids who literally debate the professor about everything the professor says. A few weeks ago, about when class started, I had this one kid who just for the entire 1 hour and 30-minute lecture, he kept trying to debate with the teacher as to what constitutes plagiarism. Like the professor literally had bullet points on the board as to what constitutes plagiarism. And like, you know, people have common sense. Like this dude literally debated the professor point for point as to what constitutes plagiarism, as if he's gonna somehow game the system and get away with plagiarism. Like, dude, whether or not you actually convince the professor that whatever you're trying to do doesn't constitute plagiarism, it's not like the professor is gonna go into like the website's code and alter it so that it doesn't detect your plagiarism. Like, what sort of reality is this guy living in? Like, I don't get it. He thought it was so smart, like he was gonna like, oh, today's my day, dude. Today I'm gonna finally outsmart a professor. Today I'm gonna game the system. Today I'm gonna find a loophole and I'm gonna get away with plagiarism, dude. Like the website in which we submit our assignments are hard-coded to detect plagiarism, alright? Like, you're not gonna get away with it, no matter how hard you debate the professor on this, alright? So for the entire 1 hour and 30-minute lecture, it was literally just a debate between this one guy in the front row and the professor. Like, dude, shut up. You're wasting everyone's time. We're all paying money to go to this class to listen to the professor speak, not you, alright? And that's just one example out of millions. I know everyone in university has that one kid in class who just wants to debate with the professor, dude. Whether it be plagiarism, whether it be politics, whether it be vaccines, or whether or not the mitochondria is a powerhouse of the cell. These kids just get off of debate. Whether or not they actually convince the teacher that they're right, it doesn't matter, because all they want to do is just take up the class's time so people pay attention to them. That's all they want. And the problem is the professor can't just say, dude, shut up, you're an idiot. Because if they do, they're gonna risk their online professor rating. They're gonna get bad ratings from the students at the end of the term when it comes to surveys that they had to give out, and they're gonna potentially lose tenureship. So whether or not the professor wants to listen to this student, it doesn't matter, because they sort of have to. These kids who debate the professor are just taking the entire class hostage because they want to. These people are just so deluded because they think that they're actually bringing forth a discussion in the class, dude. You're not. You're an idiot. How far up your ass is your head, dude, that you think that anyone cares about what you have to say in class? Nobody cares. Everybody thinks you're an idiot. Shut up. I've had kids who debate the professor about things that are regarded as scientific facts. Like, dude, what are you doing with your life? Do you really think your Facebook or Reddit or your IFL Science article really holds any grounds or really holds any merit towards the professor's years and years of research? Like, dude, these kinds of people just baffle me. The next type of people I like to call the devil's advocate. Now, the devil's advocate is actually a really close relative of the debater, but there's a slight difference. The debater actually believes in the bullshit they're saying. The devil's advocate, on the other hand, doesn't necessarily have to believe in the bullshit they're saying. They just realize that nobody else is saying bullshit, so by saying that bullshit, people are gonna think they're smart because they're offering something new to the table. Like, dude, there's a reason why no one else is bringing up the points that you're bringing up, alright? It's because no one else in the class is an idiot like you. Like, these people think that if they bring up and they defend such an outrageous point of view, that somehow people are gonna think they're smart because they're saying things that no one else is saying. Like, I had this one kid in my philosophy class, and he was saying that Nazi Germany had to happen and in the end was a good thing because it brought people from around the world together. Like, he must have thought that he was so smart that he like brought a new perspective to the table and people are gonna be like, oh, you know what, I really didn't think about that, you know. No, dude, people did think about that, but the filter in their head said, let's not talk about that because that's stupid. I had a kid in a sociology class trying to defend colonialism because native populations benefited from the technology and from the global economy they brought to the colony. Like, sure dude, the native populations, the indigenous people, they're really enjoying their lower life expectancies, alright? But hey, at least they have iPhones. Oh wait, they don't even have iPhones because they make less money than colonists do. Like dude, you're literally standing on land that your ancestors stole. Like, it's just so baffling to me how narrow-minded and stupid these people are. It's like these people are in a competition or something of like, who can say the most idiotic, controversial, edgy thing. Like, dude, are you 12? Did your parents put you on a strict diet of sugar and glue? Like, what is wrong with you? The next kind of people that piss me off, I'd like to call the opinionated. Now, if you're a person who has opinions and you're a person who likes to share them, that's cool, that's fine, alright? Everyone has a right to opinion, everyone's opinion is valid, yada yada yada, whatever. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the kids in lecture who literally all they do is share their negative opinion of something the professors show to the class. I've had this creative writing class just last year. Whenever the professor would show something to the class, this kid would raise her hand 100% of the time and just say, I didn't like that. Oh, I didn't think that was good. Oh, I think that was garbage. I think that was trash. Like, sure, okay, you didn't like whatever the professor was showing to the class, alright? But like, can you like at least elaborate further? All you're doing is saying negative things about the artwork that the professor is showing. You're not actually like giving any sort of discussion to the table. And every time this kid did that, the professor's like, oh, okay, do you have any other thoughts you'd like to share with the class? She'd just say no. Like, dude, you're just being negative. You're not adding anything to the conversation we're having in class. You're not discussing anything. You're just saying that you don't like it and that's it. If that's all you have to say, like, can you just shut up? If you don't like something, that's cool, but at least like elaborate on it and start a discussion. Why are you just saying that you don't like it? Or you think that it's wrong? Like, dude, it just baffles me, dude. So why even say anything? Last week in one of my classes, the professor asked the class whether or not they've been broken up via cell phone or if they've broken up with someone via cell phone. And this one girl raised her hand and she says, I've never had anything like that happen to me before, but I think if you do that, you are a coward. Like, dude, you just said you've never had this happen to you, alright? So why does anyone care about your opinion? Your opinion literally means nothing, alright? If you've never been broken up via cell phone, you have no right to talk about other people's experiences. All she was doing is just judging people. And she was the first person to raise her hand too. Like, at least a dozen kids had their hands up and they were actually gonna share a story. After she said that, dude, everyone's hands went down. Like, if you're only gonna say something negative and you're not gonna back your negative point of view up, don't say it. Why bother? You're just being a drag, you're just being a killjoy, and you're bringing nothing to the conversation. So just shut up. Like, it'd be much better if you didn't say anything, but now because you have to share your stupid opinion, people are scared to share their own now. And this girl, she always does it too, dude. 100% of the lectures I've gone to, all she does is raise her hand and say, oh, I think that's stupid. I think that's bad. I think these people are stupid. If you don't have anything worthwhile to say, then shut up, alright? Nobody cares. Next group of students I'd like to talk about are people I'd like to call the entitled. Now, I go to a school that houses and educates refugees. I personally know people who have fled their countries because of a civil war or something happening in their home country. I know people who don't know if their family members back home are still alive or not. Like, these people have such heartbreaking, emotional stories about how their lives were back home before they fled their countries to come to our country. But for some reason, there's always kids in class who think that they have better stories to tell than these refugees. Now, I take a lot of sociology and psychology and creative writing courses. Oftentimes, the professors will ask the students about where they came from, what was the most difficult part of moving to this city or to this country, what was the most difficult thing they've had to do when they were a kid, what were their struggles growing up. So you think with such a diverse student population that we'd be able to hear stories from the refugees, or not even from these refugees, but from kids who grew up in different walks of life. I'm talking about kids who grew up discriminated, kids who grew up bullied, kids who grew up not accepted because of who they are. But for some reason, almost 100% of the time, the stories we hear from class are from the kids who grew up in the suburbs of Alberta or whatever as a white person. Like, dude, I'm not saying that growing up as a white person in a suburb somewhere isn't difficult, but we literally have kids who are escaping their countries, coming here, and they don't know whether or not their family's alive. Like, the instant you start talking about how difficult it was growing up as a white person in the suburbs, 90% of the students are checked out, because 90% of the students come from the exact same background as you. Like, I'm not saying your stories aren't valid, and I'm not saying that your life experiences aren't valid, but why don't we give this platform over to the kids who need it? People like us who grew up in middle to high class, who grew up in the suburbs, who went to private schools, our stories don't need to be told, alright? These people's stories need to be told. And the last type of university students that piss me off are the oblivious. I'm talking about the kids who have no idea about what's happening in the world around them. I'm talking about the group of dudes who are over there having their own conversation about whatever football game was just happening. Like, dude, I came to this class to listen to the professor speak, alright? I don't want to hear about whatever party you just went to, whatever football game you just watched. Like, shut up. If you want to talk about these things, then cool. Like, can't you just wait until class is over and talk about it outside? Or if you have such a burning conversation, like, everyone has laptops, alright? Why don't you just text each other? For some reason, these people just have to have their conversations like right now and really loud so that literally everyone in class can hear what they're saying. Speaking of laptops, kids with laptops are also annoying. Now, if you're typing your notes on your laptop, that's fine. I'd even go to say that if you're texting someone, or if you're on Facebook, or you're on Twitter, on your Reddit, on your laptop in class, that's fine too, because everyone does that. But there's this girl in my class, and she sits in the front of the class as well, and she always watches videos of like pimple popping and earwax extractions. Like, dude, you're sitting in the front of the class, everyone can see your screen, and you're playing it on full screen. Like, don't you think that's a bit distracting to people? Don't you think that the people behind you don't want to watch that shit in class? Or at all? Like, if you're gonna watch like such weird shit on your laptop, like, I'm not gonna judge you for it, but sit in the back of the class where no one's gonna be looking at your laptop. Like, the amount of obliviousness this person has to have is just astronomical. Another kind of obliviousness that annoys me is when kids bring chips to class. Like, I get that you want to eat in class, like that's fine. You're free to eat in class if the professor allows it. But did you really have to bring a bag of chips? Like, out of all the foods and snacks you could have brought to class, you brought literally the loudest, most annoying thing to class. Like, you can hear a bag of chips crinkling in someone's backpack from a mile away. And then you bring it out of your backpack, you tear it open, you take some chips and put it in your mouth, and you chew with your mouths open. Like, dude, my ears are bleeding. Like, why couldn't you have brought a more silent snack to class, dude? Like, why did you have to bring a bag of chips? Like, if you really wanted to eat chips in class, couldn't you have brought Pringles? Like, the chips themselves are still loud, but at least we won't hear the damn crinkling of the bag for the entire lecture. Like, I just don't understand how people can be so oblivious. It's such a psychological phenomenon that just blows my mind as to how detached from the real world these people are. But anyways, that's gonna be it for me. Leave a comment down below on types of students that just piss you off. If you have any stories at all, I'd love to hear them. But anyways, that's gonna be it from me today. I'll see you guys next week.